everyone, Ace here, and today we are back with my Let's Play of the Asian campaign for the Art of Conquest expansion for Empire Earth. So, last video we ended up starting off this campaign, which means today we'll be doing the Breaking Point. One of the toughest missions in the entire game. But let's jump in.
With the colonization of other worlds now in actuality, a worldwide race has begun to explore, colonize, and exploit the mineral riches of other planets. With an exploding population, UFAR realizes it cannot sustain itself with its dwindling natural resources. The Federation has committed huge amounts of resources to its space program, including terraforming and faster-than-light technology that can ferry resource-laden cargo ships from Mars to Earth. This economic burden has placed enormous strain on the quality of living conditions in Southeast Asia. Several opposing factions have arisen out of the disapproval of the government. Even some religious groups have dissented, believing that man's place is on Earth and only on Earth. Acts of sabotage and terrorism hamper the space effort, and the weakened UFAR military is having trouble protecting its key research and production facilities. Faced with the possibility of total collapse in the Southeast province, UFAR is running out of options to stabilize its economy and diffuse the political climate.
Alright. So let's have a quick look at the map here. There's a few things to take note of course. We have three bases, essentially. This one here, here, and this tiny one up here. We do, however, have a few additional issues. We do have a few allies as well that will be able to help us out and are going to be trade partners. Here's the Japanese, the Taiwanese up here, and the Russians down here. Now, let's go ahead and have a look at the history. I'm not going to read it to you myself, but if you wish to read it on your own, and I do recommend doing so, feel free to pause the video now. Alright, so let's have a look at some of the hints. Food is your main negotiable commodity. Harvest the rice from the fields and bring it to market for trade with your neighbors. When exchanging food for troops, remember that troops do not fall under your ownership until they reach one of your cities. Escort convoys or patrol trade routes to protect resource shipments from rebel attacks. All very good advice. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump into the mission.
United Federation of Asian Republics, Southeast Province. The political landscape has become a minefield as public demand for democratization swells. Rebel activity is reaching unforeseen proportions. Crippling attacks on the industrial infrastructure are pushing the province to the brink of economic collapse.
Report.
Sir, there's been heavy fighting with rebels in the north. While our troops were engaging them, a small rebel group infiltrated and sabotaged the ore refinery. It's been completely destroyed.
Damn. Without that refinery, we have no internal supply of raw materials. I'll have to speak with our diplomats immediately. If they can't cement some trade agreements quickly, our military complex will grind to a halt, and we'll be at the mercy of the rebels.
Alright, so let's go ahead and actually get some diplomats going. We're also going to want to get...
Build diplomats and open a dialogue with our neighbors. The province will need to negotiate for gold and iron. Military and technological aid are also critical for stabilizing the region.
So here's the good news. When it comes to actually getting resources, we do have a lot of food to work with, and these rice fields essentially are treated as forage patches.
Harvest rice from the fields and bring it to market to trade with our neighbors.
This means that we can basically get 6 people on each patch of rice. That is the good news. And as you can tell, we have tons of it to work with. Plus, it's not actually treated as destructible.
We are ready to open negotiations with our neighbors. Send us on our way to the capitals and wish us luck.
But there's also tons and tons of bad news. Let's actually go over some of them. For a start, as I've mentioned, we're spread out across 3 bases, and we have to protect all 3 of them. So this group here will be Group 1. This here will be we'll make it Group 4. Alright, so these guys will be group... Actually... No, actually we will want them all together, including the AA, so... This will be group 2. And while at it, we are going to want to improve the range on the towers, even though it'll cost stone, which is actually in comparatively short supply right now. And this group here, once we get all of them together, will be group 3. Alright, I believe that's everyone. So I do actually have a fair number of things I'm going to be doing very specific to this one particular mission, and it is important that you follow through on this, because this is a mission that can really ruin your day in a whole manner of ways. It can be a very frustrating mission to play, and there's a number of reasons. For a start, you have to make sure that at least one of these trucks is alive at all times. Otherwise, you will fail the mission. In addition, there are other issues as well, like you have to make sure that that at least one university survives. Otherwise, you will fail the mission. You also have to, of course, get the amount of resources, which are quite a bit, actually. And it's not helped by the fact that you have constant raids that you're going to be dealing with, especially once you start actually trading proper. But I'm going to be cheesing, which is why I'm actually going to be cheesing this level quite a bit.
Welcome, comrade. I was most pleased to hear of your offer. My country is interested in exchanging resources. We are not in need of food, however. We would be happy to trade raw materials in return for trained military personnel. Right away. For every 10 troops you send to our fortress, we will provide you with iron and gold. This is generous, no? It is a great pleasure to be doing business with you.
In this particular level, because of how the trade is going to be working...
Greetings, Ambassador. While your offer is most kind, I'm afraid our food supply is more than adequate. However, we are in need of iron, the only source of which lies in the Russian territories. We are currently at a diplomatic impasse with the Russians, who refuse to trade with us. But since your nation is in a position to obtain iron from them, I think we can come to an arrangement. Send cargo trucks to us, and iron will be delivered from your supply. In exchange, we will provide you with technical assistance that will aid in research for your space program. We look forward to a prosperous partnership.
I received your communique. Thank you for coming. We are experiencing a serious food shortage right now, so my government has authorized me to broker a trade agreement. In exchange for food, we will send you troops. Simply dispatch a cargo truck to one of our granaries and the food will be delivered. Upon delivery, troops will be released from our compound and given marching orders to one of your cities. I think this will prove to be a mutually beneficial relationship.
So I'm going to get a few tank factories built. I want to do that very specifically because my strategy is going to involve getting them set up so I can actually get the cargo trucks actually built right in the base, so all I have to do is just spawn them in or recruit them in and they'll instantly receive the shipments. It's a pretty cheesy strategy, I will admit, but it is an effective one. And this means that we should face less enemies to deal with as well, because the way the AI works is when you actually send one of your trucks out to one of these bases, the truck will actually cause a trigger once you leave one of your bases for enemies to spawn in and try to attack the truck along the trade routes. Actually, I could probably get slightly more. I should be able to get enough wood that I could actually build, make it even slightly easier for myself by just building another one over here. So, because one of my, actually no, I guess I could just save the wood for now. So one of my strategies is going to be to actually send this particular truck to this town. The reason is, even though I'm not actually going to be using it, the fact that it is going to be The fact that it is going to be there means that the enemy won't be able to take it out, which means I won't be able to just fail the mission because my last truck got destroyed. Now they are, of course, going to be attacking it, so we will need to actually... Didn't even see that guy there. We will need to get the tanks and whatnot moving into position to at least deal with a few enemies that will be showing up. Okay, so that looks like that's mostly been... Looks like I won't have to deal with anything else for a little bit, so that is good. My main strategy, I'm going to try... you do have to build a research center as well as a wonder, which will actually cause some issues. Because you have to, when it spawns in, when it actually gets built and finished, you have to defend it and keep it at full health while enemies try to take it out. And it's one particular enemy unit called the Hyperions, Cybers, that you have to really worry about. Alright, so let's see if it... Yes, it does.
Your food shipment was received. Troops have been dispatched and will be at your command once they arrive at one of your cities.
Alright, so they are heading this way, which means I should actually defend them. Alright, that could be an issue. Actually, wait, I have the troops here. I could just... Oh. Well, I can take out some of them, at least. Alright, well, if I get these guys down here with the rest of the units, they'll be able to hopefully get the enemy units here to basically just go right into the range of the AA guns. The AA guns will take care of them. And it looks like it's going to come to pass. Alright, so the shock troopers are a unique unit, so I will just be able to double click on them and select them whatever I want. Now the way I'm going to have this work is I'm just going to move each set of 20 guys to the Russian fort there, and for every 10 I get resources from the Russians, which is good news. There is more good news in the fact that the resources, of course, include both gold and iron, and I'm only giving iron to the Japanese here. So once I have enough iron to actually just ship them the 5 or so trucks and all that, I'll be able to keep the gold and combine it with the food to make a lot of Hyperions.
We have delivered to you gold and iron in return. Many thanks for the additional troops, comrade. We have delivered to you gold and iron in return.
Now, because I've placed this particular tank factory all the way over here, it's not going to be attacked too much, hopefully. Sometimes these positions also get attacked a bit more than... Take that out real quick, because that has got to be priority. Okay, we're going to have to send these... Alright, so we've taken out that force there. That is good. Part of the problem with this mission and why it's such a challenge is the fact that there's only one hospital, and it's in the center of town here. I don't even know where the reinforcements went, so that could be a real problem. I actually better do some scouting just to see if they actually... Nope, they're appearing over here. That could be both good or bad, depending on how many of them will show up. Hopefully, we get a full set again. I think we might have. By the way, there's a couple of bugs with this mission too. For example, they don't always switch allegiance to your side right away. And you might actually not get all of them that way. I've definitely seen that happen to me before. I've seen it happen with a good number of these guys too, which is a real big problem. Like, take this guy for example. He hasn't switched yet. And he's the only one, too. That's, Wait, he might actually switch, though. Yep, okay. So sometimes they'll do that where they'll walk around for a little bit and then they will switch. There are, however, some other bugs that aren't so easy to deal with. For example, the Hyperions that you may have to deal with might not always go straight for the wonder that you've built or the research facility, meaning that you're going to be in for some really rough times. Because you'll have to basically hunt them down, assuming they've even spawned in. You can see how frustrating that gets, of course. Now, I do have a strategy for actually dealing with that. What I'm going to try...
Many thanks for the additional troops, comrade. We have delivered to you gold and iron in return. Many thanks for the additional troops, comrade. We have delivered to you gold and iron in return.
Okay, so sometimes it depends. Sometimes they will spawn infantry up here. Sometimes they will spawn full-on tanks and helicopters and stuff like that. Alright, the good news is it looks like we can actually get yet another of these trucks going. We could actually probably get 2 more trucks like this, and it should still... Ooh. That's a problem. Because they really like attacking my stuff here too, which is a huge issue. Okay, we got that dealt with. I don't know where the troops are going either, so that could also be another issue. And it does change, of course, where they decide to send the troops. Prioritize the artillery. I'd say we lost, what, maybe 10 citizens? Okay, these guys are once again going for the middle base, which is excellent news. It's the easiest one for them to go straight to the Russian fort. We could, in theory, even have enough food to actually do this yet again, and which would give us even more iron and gold to work with, just in case things go south.
We have received the required amount of troops from Taiwan.
Of course, sir. Sir, I assist? You got it. Sir, I assist? Of course, sir.
Yeah, but we're missing...
Sir, I assist? You got it.
I'd say we're missing at least 2 more guys, but...
Sir? Of course, sir. Can I assist? You got it.
Okay, there we go.
Of course, sir.
I am actually going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to go ahead and get enough food, get another supply of troops. That way, when stuff does go south, I'll at least have the manpower, the resources necessary to keep on. Now I do want to actually get some citizens ready so I can actually send them straight to this area right here, because my plan is going to be to try to build the research facility in here between the gates. That way anything that goes around, that goes to try to fight me to get to it, has to go through the gates to do it.
Many thanks for the additional troops, comrade. We have delivered to you gold and iron in return.
We have received the required amount of iron from Russia.
Many thanks for the additional troops, comrade. We have delivered to you gold and iron in return.
I don't know where they actually... I might as well go attack these guys over here. I mean, this I can afford to lose, but they will try to go after my citizens otherwise, once they're done with this, so...
Yes, Commander. Sir, yes, sir.
We'll send our... Alright, so once again, it is the northern base. Or no, the central base. Alrighty.
Sir, can I assist? Of course, sir. Can I assist? You got it. Can I assist? Of course, sir.
Cool, we got ourselves another 2 sets of resources from this. Now I can go ahead and order these citizens to just go hopefully straight into this base here, which means we should be able to simply, if we're really lucky, just go straight through. We'll be able to then build what we need to have built, or at least at the bare minimum get it started. And it looks like we might have just enough room if we plan our play our cards right.
Many thanks for the additional troops, comrade. We have delivered to you gold and iron in return.
I'll probably just build it right here.
Many thanks for the additional troops, comrade. We have delivered to you gold and iron in return.
Alright, so we should have enough to get 5 trucks going, and ooh. So we are absolutely doing perfectly well.
We are under attack.
Okay, they're attacking our citizens. That's a problem. Alright, so now we should still have tons of food. They are going to destroy these temples, but that's fine. Oh yeah. I need to move these trucks. That's fine. I'll just wait till they're all spawned in, and then we should be perfectly good to go. The one resource I might have a shortage of at this point is stone, but otherwise I should be perfectly good. And even then, I still have more than enough stone. It's just...
Iron has been received. 4 more shipments and we will send our scientific data. Another shipment of iron has been received. 3 more shipments, and we will send our scientific data.
How can I help?
Another shipment of iron has been received. 2 more shipments, and we will send our scientific data.
That should be enough Hyperions to mess up anything that tries pushing through.
Another shipment of iron has been received. 1 final shipment, and we will send our scientific data.
By your command. How can I help?
The last shipment of iron has been received. Please accept the scientific data without comment.
Under attack.
Build a research system to develop faster-than-light technology.
Sir, yes, sir.
Alright, so this is where things get a little tricky.
The situation is getting out of hand. Public demonstrations demanding more democracy are resulting in riots. If we don't dismantle part of our military complex and make way for democratic elections, we face anarchy and political overthrow. The first step is to disband some military units, to demonstrate to our people that we are not a fascist military state.
Alright, so we're going to do that by deleting the entire Center Army group. So group number 3 is just going to get deleted, and hopefully that should give me enough room.
Ready, sir.
Okay, I do need to delete this group as well.
Military cutbacks, in tandem with the establishment of local elections, has diffused this most recent political crisis.
We are under attack.
Alright, so I clearly need to build more citizens and get them in, at bare minimum, into the... to at least finish that building. Good news is, once it's finished, we'll be able to just...
How can I help? Right away.
It's almost done, too, that's the thing. I almost had it. Alright, so how many people do we have still gathering food? Quite a few, actually. Well, we have 2. Not that many. But we can get quite a few. The good news is I can now actually send these Hyperions to... I'll have them stay stationary so that when the fighting does kick off, they'll be able to just...
Our supply lines are threatened. One of our cargo trucks has been destroyed.
Ready.
Right away.
Here they come.
May the gods forgive us for this transgression. At least this will provide much needed stone.
Okay, so we do have to make sure it's at full health too, and that can be a bit of an issue. Fortunately, these guys aren't actually able to hit it from that distance, so we can just keep doing this to them.
Scientists have finished researching faster-than-light travel.
Which means I think we beat the mission. Yep! So that's how you cheese this particular level, and when you cheese it, it's...
The province has endured some stormy times, but economic equilibrium is returning to the region. Public opinion has been placated for the most part, so the threat of overthrow is comfortably remote. Having achieved faster-than-light travel, UFAR is nearly ready to embark on its expansion into space. The march of progress continues to meet resistance, however, and UFAR must be diligent in protecting its interests. The days ahead could be glorious or prove disastrous.
So yeah, once you actually cheese the mission, it's not that bad. But the fact that cheesing the mission's kind of so important to the strategy can be something of an issue. There are resources here you can mine. Problem is, if you do that, the Russians will turn against you and start picking fights with you, and that's not going to end well, especially when you've got Grieger II here as a command unit. Anyways, so let's see how we did exactly. Alright, so Taiwan had the best, or no, we had the best military, but Taiwan had the best economy, which is strange given that they had a shortage of food, but oh well. In fact, understandably, we had the weakest economy, but alright. So society, we had the highest, though, too, which is weird. But anyways, military. We killed 84, which is the highest, and we lost 64. Russian and other UFAR lost 0. Japan lost 2. Okay. We raised the most the rebels raised the most buildings, which is weird. Well, actually, no, it makes sense now that I think about it, because they've been busy destroying all kinds of stuff. So we lost 49 buildings. I'm pretty sure most of that was in a cutscene or something. We did have the highest army size at 305. The rebels surprisingly had few troops even at their peak. Society, we had the highest wonder count, along with the other UFAR in Japan, and the highest hero count, as well as the highest citizen count and research count. That's why we're so high. Okay. In terms of total population over time, I think the bottom one here is us, which is at the very peak, which is okay. And then epic, okay, so, alright. And finally miscellaneous. Alright, so, this has been Ace. Hope to see you guys again soon. Take care. Ace out.